Hello and welcome back to Big Nemo Gaming. We are playing Slay the Spire, and we are starting as the Ironclad, and we are starting Act 2, the city. A quick review of our deck. We're focusing on attack and, by way of vulnerability, using our Shockwave in conjunction with Heavy Blade and Headbutt to cycle cards. We only got 3 blocks. We got rid of 1. And I think we're going to get rid of this Metallicize, honestly, because it does not synergize with Orichalcum at all. It actually will give us less block than we would get by just not blocking and using that extra energy to attack, which is what we declared at the beginning of this campaign we were going to do, is just simply attack, attack, attack. So, first chance we get, I think we will get rid of that card, assuming that there aren't better cards available. If we have to sacrifice strength gain or something, then obviously we won't do that. But it's definitely an extra card. It's a dead card in our deck at this point in time. So looking at options, I like the right side there. We can get ourselves a campfire pretty soon. An early shop isn't terrible because at 291 we might be able to secure a decent relic early. And we could definitely get a card or two that's worthwhile. We've got some elites after we branch off the midway treasure sites, and I mean all the options are alright. I don't really like the left. I kind of like the middle lane, which we can get to from any point really, and then we can branch and hit an elite or push ourselves up into a campfire. So I think maybe the right side's kind of nice as well. We hit a campfire, elite, and then work ourselves to the top. We start in the middle, and then we can make a decision as we hit that first question mark. And after a couple of fights, we'll probably have enough gold to lock down any decent relics there at that first shop. Try to hit a couple of elites on the way. So let's get rolling. Okay. So we're fighting a Shelled Parasite. He's got that plated armor. You start with 14 points of it, and as you can see, it'll block, he gains armor at the end of his turn, and when he loses HP, so once we get through that armor, it reduces his plated armor by 1. So that really synergizes, our build counters that nicely, because we just attack and attack and attack, and we do high burst damage repeatedly. So we've taken 2 ticks off of his plated armor, so he'll only gain 12 armor at the end of his next turn. And since we've applied vulnerable, we should be able to shred that. And you throw in the Mercury Hourglass, which drops it by 3 at the start of the turn, and we're in good shape. Okay, we'll just keep grinding him down. Passive damage, from our Mercury Hourglass combined with our bronze scales. Overall looking pretty good. And we won't take any damage here. Yeah, and only 6 armor. This deck's working out quite nicely so far. I like coming out of that first battle. Pretty healthy. Cleave's a great card to have. Something that's going to hit all enemies is definitely something we are lacking at this point in time. We've got great single target damage, but Cleave is an amazing card, especially once you throw some vulnerability down. Alright. A third of their health is gone. We've got 3 potions. Might be worthwhile. I mean, we won't kill either of them, but it could be worthwhile to chip them down a bit while we have the chance. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so we could potentially lethal one or both of them next turn. Alright, we'll drop a Heavy Blade on this guy and wreck him. And now we use Dropkick. And we're 1 damage away. So we'll take 1 damage and he will die. Alright. Explosive spell. So worth using that, as we got a new spell after the fight. Thunderclap is nice. It's more vulnerability, which works nice with our deck. Iron Wave, though, already upgraded. 7 damage, 7 block. So that's better than the Orichalcum. And better than a traditional strike. So I like that quite a bit. And we've got another heavy blade available on sale. I feel like I have to take that one. Mind Blast isn't worthwhile because we're not building a large deck. We're trying to keep our card count down, really. And while HP gain would be nice, not that concerned. Agent T set is pretty cool. Any energy gain you can get is always helpful. So we'll get rid of the Metallicize like we had planned on. And then I think... just doing the math. Yeah, we should be able to get a card and a relic here. I think that'll work out. And just a separate note, we removed a card from our deck at a later time. Next time we hit a shop, it's going to cost more money for us. So, I guess we'll just not buy anything. Let's save our gold. We're going to hit another shop later. And we could get something, there are relics out there like ginger root, or ginger root prevents weakness. We want to stay strong. So, and our card cycling already is doing pretty well with the headbutt, pulling our heavy blade back in. So, alright. So we're going to tank a little bit of damage, not much. In this combo right here, your Centurion, he does damage and shields. And your Mystic, so, your traditional white mage, she's going to heal, do a little bit of damage here and there. And she's got a strategic intent, so she's going to buff, which means she's going to try to heal both herself and the Centurion, which I'm not a fan of, really. And I think it is worth wiping her out, so that's nice to get that right out of the way. Take a little damage, gain some cards. And we'll hit him with a weak and a vulnerability for 5 turns. And he's kind of tanky, he's got 69 health remaining, and he's got the ability to armor up, so I think it's a good time to use a regen potion. Should get a few turns in. And he's already weakened, so I don't think it's worth spending anything else. And really, the regen potion, I don't expect to get its whole, or be ahead of where I was when I came into the fight, but I'd like to minimize my HP loss, and I think he's going to last long enough to proc most of that regen potion. Well, there were 2 more rounds left, so maybe we could have played that better, but I like the drop kick. Another one. I mean, it's a free attack basically if they're vulnerable, so that's pretty great. Some black fog. There's a mausoleum, and we're facing a sarcophagus studded with gems, and we do notice black fog seeping from the sides of the coffin. I mean, why not? Let's see what we can get out of it. And we found a relic, the Centennial Puzzle, so the first time you use HP each combat, draw 3 cards. So some more card draw mechanic, that's always nice. And we end up coughing violently, and we got Writhe as a curse. Curse cards can be... just a pain in the neck because you can't play them. They're just a dead card in your deck, a dead draw. Or they can actually hurt you. Writhe is one that we don't care too much about. So we hit a campfire. I don't think it's worth overhealing. I think upgrading some cards, or a card, is really the best course of action. And we have been, anytime we get a chance, we're playing a drop kick. If they're vulnerable, we play it because it's free damage. So I think maximizing that damage is a good idea. We've already got upgraded Heavy Blade and Shockwave, so that's the next logical best step. Alright, deal a ton of damage. And there you see Writhe is unplayable, and it's innate, which means it starts in our deck. And I took some damage, so I got 3 free cards. So now we've got a lot of options. We'll play our drop kick for free damage. Throw a cleave out. And we want to get rid of that slaver at the end there, because he can stop us from attacking. He throws an ensnare out, which basically he's got his slaver's net. And that's never a good thing. I'm debating Heavy Blade or drop kick. It seems like Heavy Blade is what should always be in my hand. Of course, because I can draw it right now. And can we come close to killing someone? Iron Wave is not a terrible idea because there's 10 damage coming at us. I don't know that we can kill anybody completely with the amount of damage we put out. I guess we can kill this slaver, which would put us at 5 damage coming from the other guy. So that makes sense. So we throw a heavy blade and maybe a strike on the slaver. There we go. And then Orichalcum will give us 6 armor. We take no damage. Though we get a wound placed in our deck. So another status card that's just a dead card. And that should do it. We get a letter opener relic. Each time we play 3 skills, deal 5 damage to all enemies. That's useless. But we don't play skills. Armaments is a pretty amazing card. By default, it's not that great, but if you upgrade it, you can upgrade all cards in your hand. We've got pretty decent upgrade status right now. The important cards have been upgraded. So I don't know how beneficial armaments is. It's usually a no-brainer. Just get it and upgrade everything, but it could thin our deck out a bit. So I don't like the idea of diluting our deck for not much benefit. Especially since we're trying to not waste time blocking if we don't have to. So playing the bird, you see the little wing icon underneath him with the number 1 right now. It started with a 3, which is his flying, which means all of our damage dealt to him is halved. But if you hit him 3 times, it takes him out of flying, interrupts whatever he's doing, knocks him to the ground. So we've dropped him. We were hexed by this other guy. And if we play a non-attack card, then we get some, I believe, dazed in our deck. So we don't play that many non-attack cards, though. So I'm not terribly concerned. So we'll prioritize killing the bird. And we have been weakened as well. So that's not awesome, but so it goes. I'm not really that afraid of Chosen. I think we're strong enough, though we are at about 50% HP. It's funny how fast that happens in this game. We'll throw a drop kick and then another drop kick, just some free damage, and then throw a heavy blade at it. So we'll tank 7 damage right now, I think. Yeah, we do have a weaken potion, so yeah, we'll tank 3. Not bad at all. So we're doing pretty well. I mean, under 50% HP though. This is we've been slightly reckless with our hit points. But not so bad that I'm concerned about the state of the run, really. Yet. Though you run into certain enemies and they'll just take you out. So here's one of these dazed. It's unplayable and it's ethereal. So if it's in our hand at the end of the turn, it's exhausted. Which is irrelevant at this point. Okay, options. I think Pummel is decent, especially if we're going for strength gain. If we ever get any strength gain at all, which seems like it's not actually going to happen, but that's what we're working towards. So let's just assume it'll happen eventually. And Kunai, of course, we're going to take it. 3 attacks per turn. We gain some dexterity, which helps with blocking, so really does not help us very much at all because we don't block. But, you know, so it goes. So we can add some cards to our deck, or we can heal. I kind of like the idea, since there's a campfire, that we add a card to our deck and hope for some strength gain, because we can just heal at the campfire next turn. And we have Inflame, and nothing else regarding strength. So I think that it's a no-brainer. We just go with Inflame. Alright. And then we'll rest up, and we're up to 69 out of 80 HP. And I think we've still got time for an unknown and an elite and one more enemy. So Happy Flower, every 3 turns gain energy. It's a nice relic. You know, a little bit of passive energy gain. You know, we're starting to get... Things are starting to come together on this deck. And I'm not a fan of the Book of Stabbing. It can do a lot of damage. And somehow, in our 21 card deck with a full hand, we were unable to draw anything that applies vulnerability to this guy right out of the gate, which is pretty annoying. So we'll throw a Pummel just to get it out of the deck. Not really too keen on it right now. I don't think it matters much against this guy. Of course, hit him with our heavy blade. We got our 3 attacks in this turn, so we've got extra dexterity for when we never block. Though I guess that does apply to the Iron Wave, so it's somewhat useful. It's more useful than I thought it would be. The letter opener, though, is just pointless. So we'll throw our Inflame out there. It's a power, so we play it and it's gone. But we do have 2 strength. You can see the sword icon underneath my the Ironclad avatar there. So now we're dealing extra damage on every attack. And that's got to be the first time this run that we've played 2 block cards in the same turn. In the same fight, even. But we were forced into it. It was not what we wanted to do. So, let's, we're going to take 16 damage, which is not awesome. I think we'll throw an Iron Wave out. You know, we get a little bit more. We got 6 armor here. And we're going to tank some of this. So we'll tank 10 damage, and he kills himself. Very nice. Get a Singing Bowl so we can add max HP when we draw cards, which is amazing. Because this way, I mean, we could take Shrug It Off, which is a nice card. It's better than Orichalcum. Or we can just increase our max HP, which helps us heal at the same time. I think we'll get the, you know, Shrug It Off for it's some card draw, which is really nice, and some extra block, so it's actually a worthwhile block in our deck. Now, if we can get rid of other blocks, I think we find ourselves in a good spot. Now, this fella has the Malleable trait. Upon taking attack damage, gains 5 block. Block gain increases as Malleable is triggered. Resets to 3 at the start of your turn. As you can see, it's at 5 now. So the next time we break over 4 damage, you know, he would add 5 block. And now it's reset to 3. So we can just do direct damage to him. And he's going to do 15 damage next time he tries to attack, which is not great. Fortunately, we do a ton of damage with every attack. Okay, barricade armor. I'm not too keen on any of these. Anger is nice, but I think the max HP is more helpful for us in the long run. Obviously, we have to rest. I don't think it makes any sense to run into a boss fight, you know, without much HP. And we'll see how this goes, especially since this guy can do significant damage in one shot. Quite fortunate to end up with Inflame right out of the gate. You know, just do a small amount of damage. But we do have our strength gain, so Heavy Blade is going to do work during this fight. And these minions have their, you know, they're trying to do some sort of strategic activity, which we know they're going to steal some cards, which I'm not a fan of. So we'll try to play the important things right now. We get that Shockwave out, and you can see he had 3 artifacts to start the fight, and artifacts basically nullify various buffs and debuffs. So the vulnerability and the weak, even though it's 5 of each, it only counts as 1 debuff with a extended duration. So each of those counts as a single debuff with an extended duration. So we'll bash him to get rid of the last artifact. And they stole my pummel and my... what was the other one they stole? I missed that. I don't know. It doesn't matter. So we're going to cleave, pommel strike, and then what do we want? I think we'll just... we should drop kick. Try to get these minions taken out so we can get our cards back and be down to 1 target remaining to do anything to. Alright, we've managed to take that guy out. And now, we don't get a free action, but we will, we'll still hit him with a drop kick. It's good damage. So he's buffed himself a little bit. 7 block makes sense because we have that extra dexterity now from the kunai a couple times. So now that outpaces Orichalcum, and it makes sense to use some of our blocks. Get some vulnerability on this guy now. And get our Heavy Blade back in our deck. He's looking to buff himself and armor up. So he gained 3 more strength. He's at 6 strength. and he's going to come at us with 51 damage. We have to block. So as it stands, we have 64 HP basically. Do as much damage as we can with that heavy blade, but that's going to hurt. Throws a hyper beam at us. 13 HP remaining. This may be the end. This is we're cutting it very close, because he doesn't back off on damage because of that strength gain, you know. 26 damage, so we are 13 shy. I think we should prioritize defense here. 13 and 6 is 19. All right, so we're at 21, still doing 26 damage. We're at 29. Okay. And we have 3 HP remaining. Now he's going to buff himself and armor up again. And we will throw that heavy blade at him. 23 HP remaining. Oh, this is going to cut things close, isn't it? One more armor. We're still at 3 HP. And he's at 22 effective HP. And the heavy blade will do it. Wow. That was close. And we get a potion, some other stuff, some gold. We're at 471 gold, so we'll be looking for a shop on the next floor. Options available. Immolate's kind of cool. We saw Bludgeon before. I feel like now maybe we just take it, because are we going to see it again? I don't think so. Alright, and then relics. What do we have available? Philosopher's Stone gains energy, but gives them strength. Mark of Pain, we gain energy and start with 2 wounds in our draw pile. That's kind of a bummer, but all of these will give us energy. I love energy. I think we've got enough card draw, or card cycling mechanics, that the Mark of Pain makes the most sense. You know, let's just keep, let's commit to that energy gain. So that wraps it up. We have finished the city. I'm Big Nemo. Thanks for joining me. And come back next time where we take on the third act of Slay the Spire as the Ironclad. If you're enjoying this, go ahead and like the video, please. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can get more content like this. We'll see you next time.